What up? We are back. Another episode of Blockchain Bros. Episode number 5, right?
We're at
How you doing,
episode number
man?
5. Doing fine. Markets at the moment are quite stable for many coins. Some are a bit bearish, so I would say time to invest for most here to get your Bitcoin stuck into your wallet. So
Yeah, we were just
great time.
actually talking in the back room, and I was looking at my coins that I watch, and you see a lot of red on here. And so when I literally just use the red as the time to buy. This is when I know the dips are happening. And so it may be oversimplistic, but when I'll go into detail, this is just my strategy. I'll go into detail when I look at the red. But generally, if it's all green, I'm on chill mode, and I'm just like, let me just bank up, on the wins. And then when it goes in the red, this is when I know this is the time to start looking at the price differences, how much it's dipped and everything, and when I need to start buying. So I literally just have color coded my buying strategy and my selling strategy. Sell on the green, buy on the red, and it works
Well,
really well.
well that's the best strategy you can have. It's also one I use now. What I use additionally, and I wrote it down in my crypto bull book. I also look at the graphs of the value. I do not only look at when it all turns red in order to buy. I also take into account how steep the curve is, and if I see it's fluctuating but at average quite stable, best time to buy or sell at that point in
Yeah,
time.
yeah. You gotta have a really good strategy right now because these dips are like, I don't even know if we want to. Can we really call these dips? I mean, what's happening right now?
I dare say corrections or stabilizing points. If I remember correctly, from the bull run in 2017,
Mhm.
it came with two peaks. The first can be compared with the one we had, and afterwards, I believe there was a few weeks of stabilization, slightly bearish, until it suddenly exploded towards 20K in value. I know other crypto enthusiasts on Twitter that I've seen, not Vitalik, but the Winklevoss brothers are also expecting a huge leap for many coins that will occur within the forthcoming weeks. So
Okay.
especially now, especially this weekend, if you've got spare fiat currency, it might be a good time to start investing and holding. It might take a few days, but especially with Joe Biden's announcement for the relief funds of 1.2 2 or 3 trillion dollars,
Crazy.
there's an explosion going to happen. So it might be wise to invest now.
Yeah, it's crazy his entire plan. Uh, dude's just I don't know. I get the impression, which is going to actually segue into what we're about to talk about here. The dude is kind of nuts, man. I mean, printing just money like to that scale. Where is it supposed to come from, other than a printer?
Well, that's one of the current faults of the centralized system, and one of the faults that has been made during the Nixon days. Back in the
Mm,
days, the US dollar was being backed by gold, the gold standard. If they wanted to increase the value, well, they could say, okay, we're going to print less money or increase our gold reserves.
yeah,
At this point in time, the US dollar is being backed by debt, meaning the debt other countries have to the US. The dollar at this point in time is failing by reason, well, they keep on printing money, keep on making not so sane investments. The relief funds are actually, well, a last minute measure, I'm going to say, in order to stimulate cash flow in the economy. But
yeah.
what most people will be doing is like, oh no, we're going to put it into a savings account, or, well, like most of us with cryptocurrency, saying, well, okay, we're going to invest it in cryptocurrency, which implies it will be moved once and afterwards. Sorry, darn cat. So it will be moved once towards an exchange or business model platform where cryptocurrencies can be bought. It remains there, and everyone continues with cryptocurrency. In a certain sense, it is devaluing the classic market, but at the same time, it implies there's a lot of movement in the crypto market, which makes it better for everyone who is holding cryptocurrency at this point in time.
Indeed.
And this brings us a bit towards the topic of the day from these blockchain bros. governments and cryptocurrency, because naturally they are trying to regulate everything and get a hold on to the markets by taking a variety of measures. Also, many countries, US, Europe, are trying to develop a digital euro and digital dollar project.
Yeah, stable coins.
Yep, stable
What
coins.
they call stable coins. Excuse me.
Yeah, I know there's quite a lot of, dare I say, mystification going on. A bit of the proper word again. Uh, well, sort of creating confusion. I'm going to say obfuscation, if I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken, was the proper English word. Whereby they're going to say, yeah, it's going to be a stable coin, trying to imply it will be a cryptocurrency that is being launched with a digital dollar or digital euro, but in reality isn't reliant on the blockchain technology, which makes it truly decentralized.
Yep.
So, in a certain sense, they're actually making digital money, but no cryptocurrency because it isn't decentralized.
Indeed, being really sneaky.
Yeah, and current means, and that's something I've been also discussing the last few days. We've been, well, Belgian crypto group, Crypto België, with a variety of other users, where actually government are trying to, well, seek for an entry point into the market, trying to, well, best example with Ripple, starting with lawsuits, um, well, prosecuting a variety of projects and companies related towards blockchain technology. Why? Well, not so much because it's illegal, but moreover to test the waters, to prepare the markets and actually diminish the market so they can introduce their proper coin and fill in the gaps they've created. It's a bit sketchy, but entirely legal. Um, from my point of view, I'm pretty sure, well, they will partly be successful, but on the other hand, I'm quite sure it will come back to bite them hard in their doo-doo holes, I'm going to say, to keep
Yeah.
it nice.
You know, what we've seen here now, this is something that's interesting, because what we're seeing, like we were saying here, the mass adoption or adaptation, whichever the correct word is. Excuse me, I'm not being Mr. Lexicon today. Of cryptocurrencies, and we've seen this happening from institutions like Grayscale. Like there was recently, like I think it was just yesterday, there was an announcement that
Mhm.
Grayscale now owns 3% of all Bitcoin in
It's
existence.
correct. It's
That's
correct.
insane, considering how there's roughly 19 million Bitcoin that has been discovered so far, and there's 21 million or something like this in
Yeah,
total.
that's about a percentage, yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
so that's like, I can't even do the numbers in my head, dude. That's a lot.
uh, it's a lot. It's several
I
hundred thousands. So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
that's in the billions of what they own right now in terms of cryptocurrency. And I think like you were saying, governments are now trying to find a doorway in to the cryptocurrency market, because I think they see also that this is not sustainable in terms of what is going on in money printing overall. So let me see if I can find this here. Where is my? Oh, there it is. No, it's Chrome tab, your entire screen, application window. Where is my? Give me a second. I have an article,
Sure, no
and
problem.
I'm going to share it here. I just need to screen share somehow. Okay, there it is right there. Now I need to find a way to share that screen. My computer is acting. I guess this is it. No, that's not it. What is it? Let me try it. Is that it? Nope, that's not it. Huh. Somehow the screen won't share. That's interesting. Okay, let me just open this up in a new chat tab. Basically, what happened is the U.S. Treasury has now allowed the use of cryptocurrency, whereas before we saw, stop screen. Let me try this again. Share screen. Chrome tab. Let's go with Chrome tab here. There. Let's use this one. Share. Boom. Is that good? That did it. There we go. Okay. Jeez, that was
For
like
bank
complicated.
payments.
Okay. So U.S. Treasury to allow blockchains, stable coins for bank payments. Now, here's what's important. The OCC is an independent bureau of the U.S. Treasury. It has issued guidance stating that banks may use blockchains and stablecoins to facilitate payments. So they have allowed blockchains and stablecoins, which you just clarified the two are not, synonymously the same. The OCC has come under scrutiny for some legislators for its pro-crypto outlook. Now, I don't know how deep we need to get into this article, but the simple fact of the matter is that, the United States government, one of the departments of the U.S. Treasury, has now allowed the use of cryptocurrency. So what they're trying to do is they're basically trying to centralize it. They want to bring that under their umbrella by putting out regulations allowing it. I mean, it's not really sneaky, but at the same time it is, because if the U.S. Treasury allows banks, the U.S. Treasury is here, and they allow banks who are here to use cryptocurrencies, well, then what are they doing? They're de facto taking control of the situation because they regulate the banks. And so in their minds, I suppose, they are now regulating and controlling cryptocurrencies.
That's correct. And even with this article, it proves another point. They're actually leveling the playing field in their favor. At this point in time, when, well, simply observing the article, it is being implied that, well, they're going to prepare the entire market, the classic markets, for the introduction of their own, not going to say cryptocurrency, but digital money. So they're enabling themselves to get into the market, preparing everything, well, simply for entry and in order to, well, make as much profit as possible. So these kind of articles, I'm pretty sure more and more will be seeing something in the same manner trends, I'm going to say. Not only in the US, but worldwide. Here in Europe, US, Russia, China. Yeah, China. Well, I don't read Mandarin or Chinese, but pretty sure things are moving over there and probably a lot faster than what's going on up here.
Yeah. This is it's kind of creepy in terms of like a privacy. I think more than ever the necessity for privacy in terms of your cryptocurrency, is more important than ever. Because
cryptocurrency does Ethereum within considerable time.
Yeah. Guys, I'm mushed. We were just talking earlier. I'm mushed. I'm so dead tired. So like, I'm slurring my speech and whatnot. So it's terrifying in the sense that, like, if banks allow this and people like become comfortable with the adaptation of, the mainstream market, like we said, grayscale, and everybody starts trading and moving, cryptocurrency around, it gives the government, who knows that this, endless printing of money is not going to work, that it's going to entirely devalue, if not completely destroy the US dollar, now starts to move into the new market by de facto of the US Treasury, of cryptocurrency. So it's just what we're seeing is really the government just, really playing hardball in a sense. I guess not hardball. Is that the right term? It's
in a certain sense, yeah.
Everybody's actually playing checkers and these guys are playing chess. Let's say it like that. Everybody's just looking at immediate wins and the government's making moves to secure those wins from the individuals who are out there making them, and nobody seems to be catching this, that this is going on. Nice tail there.
Yeah.
Crypto cat, huh?
Mm-hmm. She wants attention. Go sleep. Sorry. No. So what was I going to say again? Darn cats.
Yeah. But I think this is part of the war that the governments, that is, in particular, the U.S. government has against like coins like XMR, where XMR, is entirely like, just stealth ninja style, and it makes it very difficult for them to track and trace, how much and whatever else. And I think this is, we saw also, which I'm sure, to the great, anger of the U.S. government. I think it was Kraken. They said that they'll no longer service U.S. customers in regards to XMR. They're not going to discontinue selling it, but they will stop selling it and trading it for U.S. customers. Let me see if I can find that actually.
Yeah, it's correct, because now many exchanges are actually catching onto the movements of certain businesses, certain countries. Naturally, they will still want representation there, but now they're searching for means, well, to keep their products, which are the cryptocurrencies, up for sale there. And if it implies, well, limiting certain users on their platform for buying certain cryptocurrencies products in their eyes, well, they're going to limit it, and they're going to start verifying from where the IPs are being logged in. So yeah.
Mm. Well, here we go. I mean, I came across a lot of stuff. I mean, they stopped trading. Kraken ceases trading in Monero for Australian residents, for U.S. residents. So any government that basically like gives them pushback, they just cut them off the list, and they just keep selling this. Keep selling Monero. And this is probably the reason why Monero is just not dying.
No, and it's also one of the reasons at this point in time I took preference as an exchange uh, to move over there towards Kraken by
Yeah.
reason they do not take shit for granted. Sorry, my English there, but
No, it's good, man.
at least they dare to pull up a little middle finger towards government, say, not gonna fly
Yeah.
here.
That's
Whereas
pretty good.
something like Coinbase, on the other hand, well,
They just collapsed. Yeah.
Binance is something in between. I know they say, yeah, well, we'll see for limitations, but at the same time, and that's something I've noticed, they're trying to get more and more decentralized so that they can remain relevant.
Yeah. I mean, this is very interesting news for me. I mean, in the sense that, as an American citizen watching my government, make moves to try and secure their foothold in the cryptocurrency world. And since they can't secure, I mean, since we're on the topic of XMR, I mean, I've personally made moves to like, already start mining XMR since, I'm more of an Ethereum miner, but, I've already started making moves to like move over to XMR. I mean, it's just a coin that won't die. And it's giving me more faith in the coin than anything else because it keeps growing. I mean, it's at a stable point now between like 140, 160, but it just won't go away. And I mean, that gives you a lot of confidence in the coin. And since they're really big on decentralization, they're really big on security, they're really big on individual rights to privacy in terms of their transactions and their money. I think, man, that's a real positive and a plus. Because yeah,
It's also one of my predictions that I dare make. Privacy coins, while being prosecuted right now by different governments, by reason it makes it even harder to pull an identification on the users, they are going to become more and more relevant. By reason they actually are, how to say, designed for anonymity.
mm,
In order for the users to remain anonymous, that transactions become harder and harder to be verified by a central authority like a government. So with that, I'm pretty sure something like Monero it will rise. Something like, well, I'm not going to say Ripple, but there are naturally a few other privacy coins of which I'm very sure they will be started to be traded more and more on a more frequent basis.
yeah,
Um, and that's also one of the things. Well, all governments at this point in time they see the market evolving. You see, it's become a multi-trillion market already, and they naturally want to get in, and they want identification. They want to know who are the users, who are the people who are owning cryptocurrencies. We want a piece of that cake.
yeah,
Now, the thing is, due to decentralization of cryptocurrency, it's very hard to pinpoint, well, an identity towards a wallet. The only entry point at this point in time are the exchanges. So all regulations that can be offered will be about the exchanges. Like, for example, it was in December, if I'm not mistaken, it was quite recently, US Treasury wanted to demand on all exchanges, well, if there's a transfer towards a private wallet, we want you guys to demand an ID and identification before the transfer is being met. By reason, if it's going to be transferred to a private wallet, well, they want an ID for the private wallet that the exchanges demand for it. Why? It will, well, further their reach. By reason, a majority naturally keep their coins on the exchange.
hey,
A smaller minority has private wallets. We have to be fair. Even though I'm saying towards everyone, move away your coins from an exchange, I am pretty convinced more than 60, even to 70% keep their coins on an exchange, don't move it towards private wallets.
yeah,
Even from that 30% moving into a private wallet, only have one private wallet. Whereas in previous episodes, you and I admitted owning multiple private wallets, which is the most secure you can do.
indeed.
And even with that reach from that 30%, there's an even smaller minority who does so like we do. But still, other majority who only has one private wallet, attach an ID to it, and you're actually playing into the hands of government. Now,
Yeah.
luckily, I know that regulation has been shut down. Many exchanges are, well, trying to prevent it from happening, much to the displeasure of government. But yeah, it might be possible later on this year it can be pushed through, depending on how well the exchanges and the advisors can come up with something. So it's
Yeah.
getting sketchy
It is
slowly
really
but
good.
surely.
So on an individual level, I mean, we're just talking like in general here, but on an individual level, for the private individual, I mean, from your opinion, what does this look like in terms of like cryptocurrencies and like, government and large financial institutions, Visa, uh, PayPal, and all these other massive institutions coming into the cryptocurrency sphere? What should the average person really be thinking and doing? I mean, do you have an idea? Do you have any concepts, opinions?
Well, I have mixed feelings about this. Naturally, on one side, I'm extremely happy because it implies there's mass adaption of multiple cryptocurrencies, which will
Mm,
push up their value. On the other hand, due to its being PayPal, Visa, and other multi-business related towards the classic stock market, even, I'm less happy. By reason, it's being guarded by people who are, how to say, well, not very experienced with cryptocurrency. They have their experience with the stock market, know how markets can evolve, and they imply the crypto market is going to be the same as the stock market,
yes.
which isn't the case. It is entirely different. And it's also one of my fears because well, I have two future predictions. I still expect value to rise high, but on long term, due to many of those businesses holding on towards the cryptocurrencies as an asset, a passive asset, value will drop by reason the currencies are not being traded, are not being transactions.
Mm,
And that part just be, well, the core concept upon which cryptocurrencies derive their value, their demand, their trades. If that is being slowed down, their value will drop. And it's something well, I already mentioned in the back room here. By reason this weekend, and everyone can easily check it up with the prices, starting from somewhere Friday afternoon from this week,
hmm
prices began to go down. By reason, most of the Bitcoin at this point in time is being stuck in corporate businesses,
Yep.
which have fixed working hours. During the weekends, it is extremely rare to see a bull run. I believe the only exception here was Chainlink, which is
Polkadot.
rising due to Polkadot also. But
Yeah.
things like Ethereum, Bitcoin suddenly downtrend. And
Yeah.
I'm expecting, starting from Monday, somewhere around noon here in Europe, things suddenly will become bullish again.
Yeah.
By reason, working hours, well, trades are going to reoccur within corporates. Man, it is a theory I'm testing at the moment,
It's
but
very astute observation, though. It's very, very, very good observation. I never thought
I-
about that. Definitely,
I'm
I'm going to be on the lookout now. I'm definitely going to be watching.
yeah, I'm going to say it's a theory, but I'm 60 to 70% sure. So I'm quite convinced, but it might be the case I'm also wrong. It's
Mm,
something I'm testing. I just invested. I'm not going to say how much, but a sizable amount into Bitcoin just this weekend to test it. If I
hmm
feel well, I'm going to make a loss. Otherwise, I will be having a nice profit for this week. So yeah. In any case, I probably on my Twitter I will keep it updated, and if I see that things become bullish again, I will probably make a remark or two or three during the week.
Nice. You know, this brings us to something else. Kind of like interesting when you talk about like all these corporations, just basically corporations on a corporate level, on a massive like billion-dollar level. We're seeing institutions adopt a hodl strategy. Basically, they buy up all the Bitcoin and they hodl. And so I heard some cryptocurrency purists, for lack of a better term. They were like, they were mad and they're upset about this, obviously. And they were like, buy up as much as you can to prevent this from happening. They really don't want, corporations, governments, and whatnot into the cryptocurrency sphere at all, even though we have
Well,
seen because of this bull run, it has benefited a great deal of people, so it is a double-edged sword. I guess I would say we need to wait and see what the governments are going to do and these corporations are going to do, but we have an idea already how they operate. So,
well,
to expect
there's
a tiger to change its stripes is a kind of
there's actually a third side to it. In a sense, those crypto purists,
mm-hmm,
I'm not going to say I'm going to agree with them, but neither disagree. By reason, well, okay, most of it is into corporate hands at this point in time. Naturally, the little cypherpunk that I am from time to time, naturally, I do not want to see it happening also.
mm,
But at the same time, it isn't as bad. By reason, well, most of those corporations are going naturally to hodl Bitcoin and will become the proverbial whales on the market. So those who can influence the price by making transactions. Now, the advantage of a decentralized coin like Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency is the status of being a whale is very fickle, I'm going to say. By reason, you can only make a whale movement if you're going to transact a huge amount of coins,
yes,
which implies you're actually transferring your wealth elsewhere. In a certain sense, you can only make a whale movement once or twice, not continuously, because after a certain period of time, you're going to lose, well, relevancy because the amounts that you will still have in your wallet are going to be more and more distributed. And actually, if you're a big corporation, you can say, okay, yeah, I'm going to sell off $5 million worth of Bitcoin, and afterwards I'm going to buy in once again
mm,
in value 6 million. Okay, that's correct. But due to that whale movement, it might be the case that the price has become higher. So if you buy in $6 million worth of Bitcoin, well, the amount of Bitcoin you will be having in return will be less. Bitcoin
mm.
will be spread more evenly. So in a certain sense, if you do a whale movement, there will indirectly and on longer term will be more spread of the coins, if
Mm.
you can follow me.
All this brought me to a different idea and concept. Are these guys corporations and these big businesses, they're run by smart people, whether people like them or not, is a different conversation, but they're obviously run by people who are quite intelligent. Could it be the case, and this is just a hypothetical, could it be the case that they are actually buying and holding, hodling cryptocurrency as a store of their value with the understanding that Biden's about to print the crap out of the US dollar?
It
And
isn't.
then, let me actually, because this is still developing right here in my head. Sorry, give me a second. And that in the end, they're going to crash cryptocurrency on a cash out in the future when Biden's out the office and the dollar starts to stabilize again, if it ever does. What do you think of that?
It might be a strategy they're going to try, I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing is, as soon as they're going to cash out, naturally it implies, well, a lot of Bitcoin, for example, is going to become available. So, yeah, it will give, once again, influence on the market and its market value. However, there's still huge demand going on. So, at long term, once again, you will have a peak, it will crash, and then once
Mm-hmm.
again, stabilization and return towards value.
Yeah.
Um, it's the self-correcting nature, I dare say, of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and it's something not a lot of people actually can see on beforehand. So that kind of strategy can be used and reused. So yeah, I might dare say there is a little bit of a bleak future I'm painting here,
Yeah.
but by that time, naturally, there might be other ways to secure cryptocurrency, and not going to say keep them out of corporate hands, but
Mm.
corporate will have difficulties doing those movements more and more often on the long term.
Yeah, because what bothers me the most about this, I mean, I don't really mind corporations getting into the whole thing. I mean, it's been good for me in terms of my holdings, and the profit that I've won, but they're not really using it. I mean, I use my Bitcoin. I mean, I just did we were talking in the backstage. I just did a transaction in Ethereum. I don't just buy it and mine it and then just hodl it, and just wait for a win to cash out on some, undetermined high number. I actually use my cryptocurrency. So, I use it as a currency for trade. Now, the thing is, we don't see these corporations actually doing that, except for maybe PayPal and Visa. I mean, they're actually, putting cryptocurrency into circulation, buying and selling, trading fiat for crypto and whatnot. And so there is a circulation and movement of it. But when we look at like Grayscale, it has over 10 billion, in terms of
Mhm.
10 billion in holdings, over 10 billion yet. Now, I was about to speak German, 10 billion in holdings as of to date over this. They're literally just sitting on top of it. They're not actually using it. And so this is actually, it's kind of worrying in that sense, that scale of holding, to what avail, to what purpose and use. I mean, it's a bit strange to me.
It's strange and a bit dangerous now. I'm, how to say, well, convinced about the future and the self-correcting nature of blockchain and cryptocurrency. And well, that was the next thing I wanted to ask you to highlight Mark Sims' remark: never cash out, use your crypto to earn interest, and use that money as passive income. Because
Hmm.
that's something, the kind of message I like to spread and have well mentioned several times, even during these episodes on my Twitter, etc., etc. Do not cash out. Keep your cryptocurrency. If you see value is falling, transfer it towards another coin. Sorry,
Yeah,
couldn't
it's
find
not.
my words there. But do not cash out. Why? It's like owning a gold bar and saying, "Yeah, but I'm hungry. I'm going to exchange it for a loaf of bread."
Yeah,
It's not very much the correct kind of payment. If you say, okay, here's a
that's
bit of
fancy.
the gold, yeah, okay, it's doable, but not the entire bar. And that's actually the problem. And well, not the problem, but how I see it, if you're going to cash in on your Bitcoin, you're not really helping to sustain the crypto market or making huge profits. You're actually
Mm.
making a loss because you're defaulting back towards, well, an inflationary coin which has been losing its purchasing power since, well, the gold standard has been removed. So
Indeed. Absolutely. Yeah, it really is a bad strategy. I think cross-platform. When I say cross-platform trading, you go to an exchange. You use your Ethereum to buy this, you use your Bitcoin to buy that, or you use that to buy Bitcoin. I have a coin that I mine, and I traded in for I traded in for Bitcoin, and this, that, the other. Keeping it, circulating within the crypto sphere, I guess, for lack of, the blockchain sphere
mhm.
is more viable than actually getting rid of it. But I mean, yeah, I just find the entire trend kind of worrying. You know, who's out there that's bigger than Grayscale or equal to them? What if they start getting into this? We're already seeing like exchanges shutting down the trading of Bitcoin, for a
Due
larger
to
sum.
lack of,
Probably
yeah.
go out and buy a few $100s, but if you start talking about I want $10,000, they'll, it's just basically it's like, well, we ain't got it, we can't give it to you, you know.
That's correct because corporations are buying everything at
Yeah,
an increased speed. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I do not like to equal the ongoing bull runs towards the one to 2017. 2017 was already exceptional due to well, the Tether affair and the scams market manipulations they've been trying there. Not going to get too much into detail about that one, considering the time. Going to say, but this bull run is quite unique and much more sustainable.
yeah,
Now, it makes it also a bit wilder due to corporate business getting involved. And that's another factor whereby I dare not say, well, it's going to reach that value or that value, because honestly, I have no idea, I have no clue what the future holds. And I know there's a lot of investors, a lot of stock market guys who are saying, yeah, we're going to see it hit $100,000, we're going to see it 200,000, 300,000. I'm like, it might be possible, but no, I'm not entirely convinced about it because there
yeah,
are other factors at play here. Um, Are we going to make? Well, that's a prediction I dare make. Are we going to hit 50K this year somewhere? Of that, I'm convinced. But towards the 100,000s, I have my doubts. I have my doubts.
It's a tough call, Anyway, it is worrisome. I think, my personal advice, as as a guy who's just, basically like come in depth and in detail into the entire crypto sphere from the direction of a miner. I've always been into crypto. I've always been into, but I've always been a believer, but I've never really been deep into it like I have now. Um, I would say that it's probably best to like, increase your holdings as best as possible, especially if you have like a large holdings of US dollars, Um you said earlier, they're planning on like what was it, 13 trillion or something? They're just gonna print money like crazy. And if
Yeah,
you're holding
one
dollars,
point two trillion dollars. It's
yeah,
going to be
1.2 trillion
insane.
dollars. Dude, if you're holding a bunch of dollars, you're about to be holding a bunch of toilet paper. It's gonna be like all those dollars, it might as well be like toilet paper, that everybody needed back when the Rona first kicked off. That's how value is going to be. You could just turn that stuff into toilet paper, make a killing, just go back in time with the, with the Rona. You make more money on toilet paper.
I'm
So
afraid the US will be having an economic crash once again, like in the 20s or 30s,
yeah,
where windows were just opened and cash thrown outside on the street, where even the street cleaners were just raking it up, dumping it into the sewers, etc., just because it
yeah.
became worthless.
Yeah, so I mean,
So
my
yeah,
my whole opinion, guys, increase your holdings in cryptocurrencies. I mean, even, and I'm not a fan of it, but even precious metals at this point, guys, just get out of fiat currencies, especially the U.S. dollar, and and understand what's happening. You're sitting back here, if you're like, crypto, blah blah blah, whatever else, and you're one of those type of guys. Understand that these are massive corporations, and they are fearlessly purchasing in massive amounts, and that should tell you something. Like I said earlier, these are not corporations run by dumb people. They're not dumb people.
they
So
see the movements.
yeah, pay attention to the trends, because when the dust settles, it's going to be those same dudes that are running the show right now in the fiat world that are going to be running the same world, the world in the crypto world. They're making moves to secure their position and their authority as financial bigwigs and heavyweights right now. And this is a one in a lifetime opportunity to actually see what's happening clearly and take action. And we find a lot of people aren't doing it. And
And yeah, it's something someone on Twitter frequently says. Cash flow is king. Position yourself straight into the flow.
yeah,
Period. Especially now, the opportunities are still there, and I've read tons and well, I received tons and tons of mails, questions, and they say, yeah, but Bitcoin is quite expensive. I can't get into it. You can invest but $50 a month or even a week and get into it. You do not need to buy a whole Bitcoin.
yeah,
Its liquidity is one of its strengths. You can get in for a very, very low price, but you
exactly.
will get in and its value will increase and it will enable you to escape, well, what some like a Robert Kiyosaki dare say, the rat race
Yep.
towards the bottom. You can escape it, period.
I
And
do it every payday. I buy some crypto. I buy me some of this. I buy me some of that. I got my choices, but Bitcoin's on that list. Abdul Al Razak. Okay, Abdul Razak. You said I live in Europe and I cannot link my bank account with crypto. Look, both me and Gracious, we both live in Europe. We're both in Europe. I mean, and I managed to work it out. There in my whatchamacallit, in the description, there's a few links, and some of them leads to like actual cards where you can use like you can
mhm.
store crypto there, and then you can use it like a bank card where you can pull out fiat if that's what you need to do. Because some people actually need to use the money. They don't have like a whole lot of over, or some people have a lot of money and they can actually afford to spend their crypto. You can, make online bank accounts. There's so many online bank accounts, dude, that you can get nowadays. Just go ahead and make moves, man. You got to do some research and
Yeah.
just look out for your interests.
Also, my bank account is never linked directly towards an exchange. By reason, I always use transfers. So not directly linked where I say, yeah, I'm going to buy now. I give the opportunity towards the exchange to withdraw that amount of money and put it into crypto. No, no, no. I make an active transaction. And especially now with Kraken, which I very much like, I can choose to which bank I do the transfer, which will load up my account on Kraken. That way, I'm actually distributing a bit my trace so that I cannot say, yeah, we've seen from your bank account here frequently on a regular basis, there's a transfer towards that bank for what it's being used. Well, now they can't because I'm making use of different banks to load up my account. They say, yeah, okay, it's going to be a transfer, probably bought something somewhere in Germany, somewhere in London, somewhere in Kiev, for example, somewhere in Brussels. So I'm actually spreading a little bit of my trace, and that's the thing you have to do. If you have the options to transfer it, not directly, but well, it might take several days, and granted, you might miss a short bull run, but in at that point in time, it's better to think long term. Make the investment, wait until the markets stabilize. It doesn't matter if you're 1 or 2 days late, as when you know how the future will be, you can still make the investment properly, and you're keeping government and banks from, well, your funds. They remain in to the unknown of what's being present on your wallet. Period.
Indeed. Mark Sims with another good comment. You're absolutely right, AbuAmerican. That's not just a good comment because he's like, at me. Literally put your money into anything but fiat. Cryptos, metals, stocks, just anything. The divide between rich and poor will never be greater. And that's that final statement right there. The divide between rich and poor will never be greater. We're literally looking at one of the most massive transfers of wealth from one place to another, to a new market and to a new economy like never before. And people are literally out here like, deriding it and mocking it. Like if, oh, you crypto guys, you this, that, the other. And it's like, okay, all right. Well, what are these guys over here doing, in mass scale? I got this guy, he like stalks my Twitter and he's like, oh, I can't wait for this crypto, what did he call it? Ponzi
Bubble.
collapse.
Ponzi scheme. Yeah, that's one I hear on a frequent basis also.
I'm like, okay, dude. All right. It's just you guys, man, get your stuff together, and get on the train. But whatever you do, don't get rid of that paper cash.
Yeah, what I want to add on that part, and will have to refer towards the Tates once again. I've saw a few tweets of them where they say, "Well, we're trying to drop all our fiat currency. We're going all crypto." They're multi-millionaires. That's
Yes,
probably one of the biggest hints in plain obvious view that you can have. By reason, well, they became multi-millionaires for a reason. They know
yeah,
how to handle cash well. If they
they're
say,
smart
yeah,
dudes.
we're going all in on crypto, that's a big hint. Well, probably like most average guys like me are going to say, yeah, but that's an investment, it's quite risky. Okay, yeah, we have more limited funds, but that doesn't take away you can make investments and keep something on the side for when shit goes down, you're still safe. And to that, I'm going to refer to, well, AbuAmerican, your guides concerning women and taking care of your family, because that's what you should be doing, covering your own ass. Period.
Yep, yep, and be in regards to governments and whatnot, extraordinary ruthless in that. You made a good point, and I want to talk about this. It's not because, I mean, I get along with the Tates. Everybody knows, I meet these guys whenever they're in Germany and they travel through. I go and meet up with them. Let me tell you something. For all of the, online, I don't know what to call it, what they do, engagement, for lack of a better term, all the bluster and the show, whatever else. These are two highly intelligent individuals. They're not stupid. I had some conversations with them online, through like email and whatnot. Actually, I was speaking directly to Luke, and how queued up and how knowledgeable they are on cryptocurrency and blockchain technology is quite surprising. These aren't guys that are just sitting around and they're like watching stuff and like, oh yeah, blockchain cool, crypto cool. No, these guys have in-depth detail and knowledge. They, when you have money and they have connections like they do, people are willing to come along, help them, teach them, so that they can also benefit also. So
Mhm.
guys, pay attention, like you said, to rich and smart people that are doing well, from Grayscale to Visa to PayPal to this one to that one to individuals, that are getting in on this.
Yeah, if you see most successful individuals, even if they're denying it, probably have a holding in Bitcoin. I'm going to refer to even Bill Gates, who said, "Well, I do not own any cryptocurrency, etc." Then retraced an article somewhere where he said, "Yeah, I do not own it, but a friend gifted me a few Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure, well, 100% sure, in his portfolio, Bitcoin is present,
Yep.
be it indirectly or directly, and that he doesn't want the others to know by reason." Well, the guy's smart. He isn't going to say, "Yeah, look at me. I've got it. I can influence the market."
Mm-mm.
That's not how power and influence works. You have to
No.
be slightly more discreet.
Yep. Yeah. Guys, we're gonna cut this one short. We're both tired. I've been up since like 6 a.m. I had like 3 hours on the road today. Gracious has been up himself. He's been, he had a late night also. So guys, we're gonna cut this one short tonight, 45 minutes. And there's not really a lot we can talk about this. It's just understand what's happening in terms of mass adaptation from both government now. We see the U.S. Treasury like trying to get their hands in it. We've seen like corporations getting into it, and basically when in my humble opinion, when the government saw corporations buying up billions worth of cryptocurrency, there was like, we need to get our hands in on this. And that's why they opened up the banks to it, because the banks are under control of them. And so that puts their fingers in the whole game. And then you're going to sit here on the sideline as a regular guy and not get your fingers in the mix. Come on, guys.
It's
You know,
unwise.
very
Unwise.
Get it together, guys. And look out for whatever else. Check out graciousInterests.com. He's got a lot of information on there. He's got guides and whatnot. Contact him on on Twitter, and get as much information and as help as you can if
Yeah,
you
if there's questions, just hit me up on DM or simply directly on Twitter or Instagram. Even on the Facebook page, you can reach out to me, or even my personal website. Just leave a comment. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. So yeah, no worries there.
Nice. Anything? Well, yeah, you actually just dropped it, guys. We'll see you for the next episode next Sunday. If you got any ideas or whatever else, or concepts, whatever else, hit us up. Twitter, and we'll consider it and see if it's a topic worth discussing in terms of the cryptocurrency and blockchain world. All right, guys, enjoy your night, and we are out.